Welcome, beloved sister. So, this is going to be our second embodiment practice called Making Love with Life. And again, I am so grateful and honored that you are here, that you have chosen to take this second time to come home to yourself and to breathe and to feel and embody your body. So now we are diving deeply into the temple again of our sacred sexuality. And after exploring last week the breath bliss ondulation, that it is this delicious wave of breathing that open us into softness, into pleasure, and into the flow. Today we are going to explore a different dimension of the breath, one that builds gently and intentionally on that foundation of safety and also openness. In this practice, we will work with the rhythm, with fire, and with surrender. And we will awake the breath as both energy and devotion, and as the sacred bridge between your body and the divine, the beloved, the divine mother. So you will experience the breath not just as a air moving in and out, but as the way life enters you and the way you receive sensation, emotion, and energy. So you will feel it is as your guide into presence, into aliveness, sensuality, and also this ecstatic embodiment. So this is a journey into the sacred pulse of life itself, and through the temple of your own breath and the temple of your own body. So before we even begin, I want just to speak to you from my heart about what this practice truly is and why it matters and how we will move through it together. Because when a woman understands why she is breathing in a certain way, her body also responds differently. So the body softens and it listens and it's easy for it to open. So it's not just another breathing exercise, it is a coming home, a homing come, a remembering of how to inhabit our body as a woman, a remembering of the sacredness of our body and the holiness of our sensuality and of the living pulse of life that breathes us in every moment. So often, as a woman, we are taught to disconnect from our body and we are told to be composed, to be careful, to control what is wild and radiant in us. So we hold our breath and we make it smaller, we make it ourselves smaller, we don't speak, and mainly we rush sensation, we suppress emotion, or leave the body altogether. So, but this practice is an invitation to return and to let the breath become natural again, full again, free again, to let your body soften and trust the rhythm of life that has always been moving through you. So your breath is not mechanical, it is divine. It is the same current that moves the tides and that opens flowers and spins the galaxy altogether. So for women, breath is how life enters us. It is how we receive. And when you begin to breathe consciously, you enter back into a sacred conversation with that life force. And you start to feel your sensuality, not as something separate from your spirit and from your spiritual path. It become the embodiment form of the spiritual path, the shimmering thread that weighs them together, spirit and body. So sensuality is not about only touch or desire, it is about feeling, about allowing sensation, about allowing emotion, and about allowing emotion sensation to move through us without trying to controlling that. So, in the ancient tradition, we call this Shakti, and usually it is suppressed, and we are disconnected from awareness, and we can feel numb and we can feel fragmented or distant from ourselves. But when it is allowed to move, when we feel alive, we are receptive and we become whole again. So when we are disconnected from our sensual and energetical body, we often live in our head. We overthink, we try to perform, we push, and we forget how to feel. But when we open through breath and to movement, the body begins to remember. The body begins to remember its own language. And again, another important piece, the nervous system softens, and all pattern of tension, shame, or numbness begin just to melt. So we begin to feel safe inside ourselves again, and from that safety comes power, the quiet, magnetic, radiant power of the feminine. And so this practice will help us to regulate your nervous system, as all the practice that I'm going to share with you, to awaken your energy and mainly to open your heart. It supports not only pleasure and sensuality, but also your relationship with your creativity and with your spiritual path. So, a woman who can stay present with her own sensation without rushing, without numbing or abandoning herself, develops a deeper intimacy with herself and more true and a more truthful capacity to meet life and love in its own accord. So, our practice today will unfold in a gentle, natural arch, moving through three stages of breath, each one speaking directly into your nervous system and also to your emotional body and to your sexual spiritual energy and ultimately to your soul. So we will begin by simply notice the breath as it is, not trying to change it, not judging, just feeling it. And this is the breath of awareness, the breath that says, I am here. And as we allow the breath to become even and steady, we send a clear message to the body. You are safe. This stage is essential in this practice because for many women, especially sensitive or truly empathic women, energy cannot awake until the body trusts the moment. So here we choose presence instead of dissociation, rhythm instead of chaos, and trust instead of control. So, from this grounded place, we are gently introduce a rhythmic belly-led breath. And this is the fire breath, the breath that awakens the fire, our inner fire, our vitality, our creative and sexual energy, our sexual force. And the belly is a powerful center for women and is the center of this power. And when the breath moves here, dormant energy begin to stir. You may feel warm, tingling emotion, alertness, or waves of sensation. And we work with this breath in short round. So that we rest in between and teaching the body that intensity can rise and fall safely. So this is how regulation and resilience is being built. And then finally, we open into the static breath, the breath of pleasure, the breath that makes love with life itself. This is the most feminine phase of the practice. Here, the breath is not longer controlled or patterned, it becomes responsive, alive, organic. It sighs, it moans, it pulls, it quivers, it moves the body the way pleasure naturally moves. So sometimes slow, sometimes expansive, sometimes subtle, sometimes strong. And this is not about fantasy or performing. It is about allowing life to be felt. Sound is really welcome. Movement is welcome. Emotion is welcome. Feminine energy is fluid, and when it's allowed to move freely, pleasure awakens without effort, just as a consequence. So, sexual energy is simply life energy that is moving with sensation. When sensation is allowed without shame, it is naturally expand into the heart, into the voice, and into the soul. So in ancient tradition, this life force, as I said before, it's known as Shakti, and the divine feminine power that animates everything in existence. So to breathe in this way is to honor the goddess within us. It is a prayer without words. It is devotion through breath, through sound, and through movement. And this practice is not about self improvement or reaching a goal. It is about the capacity to feel, to stay present, to let pleasure, vulnerability, grief, devotion coexist all at the same time in our body. So, throughout our session, keeping your eyes closed if that feels comfortable, and let your body move as it wish. If emotion comes, let them. If you feel tired, rest in the breath. If you feel energized, ride the wave. There is no right way to do this. The only way is yours, the honest, authentic expression of your body and breath in this moment. So, with regular practice, many women definitely notice a profound shift, and I can speak also for myself. So, deeper embodiment, an increased aliveness, and also in limbo, without effort, emotional fluidity, and also clear intuition, and a spirituality that is felt more in the body and not just understood at the level of the mind. So pleasure becomes less performative and it's more truthful. And meditation becomes also less dry and more alive. And life in itself begins to feel more and more and more intimate. So, as we prepare to begin, take a moment to just feel a sense of gratitude for your breath, for your body, for the courage it takes also to be here, to feel, to open. And remember, this is not indulgence, this is devotion. It's devotion to life, to your own becoming, to the sacred feminine that lives in you. And when you breathe today, imagine that each breath is a love letter from the universe to you and from you back to the universe. And let it be your prayer, your offering, your awakening. And so, very soon, I will guide you in this embodiment practice. And I suggest that you keep practicing the breath bliss ondulation, but then start to introduce also this practice where there is no neither the awareness of the spine undulating, is just this free flow in which we awaken this erotic pleasure, and when we feel we are truly making love with life, and when we feel we are love in itself, and when we feel that we are life in itself. So if we are ready, we can begin.